everybody. Today we're going for a quick ride and then we're going to go haul some more firewood out of the field. But I want to show you what we're doing in our cornfield. Our cornfield really has not done that well. It's been a wet year. It's been quite a wet year for us. Sometimes you have a dry year, sometimes you have a wet year. This year for us is a wet year. And this field right here, as you go further back in this field, it gets wetter and wetter. So I ended up putting my piece of corn in one of these fields farther back, and it just hasn't done that well because of the wetness. The top half of the field was pretty nice, but the bottom half really did not do that well. I cultivated it pretty good too, but the conditions we had with the weather has just made the grasses and the weeds grow tremendously. Our hay crop has been tremendous, but our corn crop is not good. And then a week or so ago, I was out and checking it, and the best part, which is up at the top of the hill, was really knocked over really bad. Looks like maybe a bear had got into it, the way it was pulled together. So we knew we needed to do something different. I have a big log job I'm planning on doing this fall and winter, and I want to spend a lot of time on that. So I was not looking forward to picking corn, and so because of that, I tried something a little different. We have put a fence around our cornfield, and I'm really curious what your thoughts are on my idea. Now, I've done this before and it's worked great, and I have actually let the cows out into the cornfield. So there's sections like right through there where it's wet, that it's just a complete bust. There's just nothing growing there, and even where as you go farther up the field, it's quite thin. But anyways, right now we have, let me think here, we have eight of my critters and 3 of my neighbors' critters out here, and my critters will almost all of them will be butchered this fall. So having this really nice feed that we have, they are going to get nice and fat. And it's surprising how well of a job they have done in these cornfields when I've let them out. They eat not only ears, which are in the milk stage right now, they're quite soft and easy to eat, but they also eat a tremendous amount of the forage stuff. And yes, there's some just knockdown and waste, but the crop itself would have been a very poor crop. Even though as you get higher up in this field, it does improve quite a lot. And there's places where, like right here, it looks pretty good. But it's not a big piece. And then, like I said, the bear or the deer or maybe the raccoon are really doing a lot of troubles in the corn. And so we decided to do this. Am I missing something right now?
No, I don't think so. It's gonna save you a lot of work later too, and it's discouraging when you go through and pick the corn and there's not much there. So
and not only that, when we pick the corn, it's late in the fall because it has to be totally matured and then totally dried down to the moisture that we want for the crib, and so it just puts me late to get my fall plowing done. And so this way I'm hoping that they're going to chew it down, and so by late September I could even get my plowing done for the winter. As you look out to our right, this is where the something got into it. And yes, the cows, I put the cows in yesterday, so some of it's damage that they've done, but there was a tremendous amount of damage that something else had done in this cornfield, so it made it kind of a little bit easier for me to make that decision. And it was a hard decision to make, but it was a little bit easier for me to make that decision to put the cows out into it.
You have done this before once, right?
Oh, yes, I have, and it really worked good. I was surprised how, they chewed it down like a pasture. There just was not anything in there. So when you go to plow, it's just easier to plow, because there's not much to turn under. And yet all of the manure from the cows are still on the field, so that would be plowed under for for fertilization. So I also want to show off to our right. This is our new seeding from this year. Now I cut it first with the oats. I have a video of that. And now it's coming up quite nicely, but there's a lot of weeds in it in places, which is normal for new seeding like this. But there's a lot of clover coming in also. Now I will, sometime in the next couple weeks, not a big hurry on it, but I will cut it and rake it and have my neighbor come up and round bale and wrap it. And that should make some really good feed also. So we have a bumper crop of feed, plenty of high quality feed for the cows for the winter. And we'll stop here to see some of the animals. Also, my neighbor has a field of corn that's on higher ground, and it's a tremendous crop. And so I know I'm thinking he's gonna have extra corn. So if I wanted to buy a wagon load or something to feed my horses throughout the winter, I could easily do that, I'm sure. So what I did is I just put a fence around it, and this post is stretched quite a long ways apart, but I have this plastic portable fence wire that I used, and it worked quite well.
And some of your tamarack posts you've put in there too, so you can
in places, yes,
make a longer stretch. Also,
like I said, these are just the young stock that are in here. I am probably the big cows, the cows and the calves and even the bull are in the other pasture, and they actually can walk all the way around the field and come out over by the cabin and actually cross over into the heifer pasture. And so I would like to do that sometime here soon, to let them in here also, because there's just a lot of feed there. You can see that Jersey going after that.
Yeah, the white face right here too. There.
Okay.
Well, oh, the ear corn, yes, yes. And the white face is eating the leaves.
Yeah. So it's amazing how much of this stuff will be eaten up and salvaged in just a different way than we normally do it.
Yeah, and they're just like figuring it out, you know, what they like and what they can eat in here. So it's interesting.
This is the first time these animals have ever been in the cornfield, obviously. So it's all new to them.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't. Well, they won't be around forever, so it could, you know, make them want always to go in a cornfield, but they're just here till the fall.
So we had the colts were in the pasture with these young stock, and so we had to, yesterday morning we moved them over to the other side, so they're close to the barn and in with the big cows. And if the big cows do get moved over here, the horses will stay on that other side, so that the horses cannot come into the cornfield. I don't want that. I'm curious of everybody's thoughts, and please put in comments if you've ever done this, if the pros and cons about doing this. I'd love to know what your thoughts are on it. You can tell me it was stupid to do, but at this point I'm sure they're not going to stop. we're good to go here, and but I would love to know your thoughts.
Look at the little cutie right there with her. Oh, thanks for coming up front where we can see you. Oh, what a cutie pie. We have another one too on the other side that was just born.
We had two new calves born fairly recently that were both surprise calves. I think I might have told you about this on another video. This black cow is the mother to that calf, and she was last year's calf, that black cow. And somehow late in the season, she actually came into heat enough to settle, and the bull bred her, and she had a calf. We also had another heifer that's out with the cows that had a calf just recently, and all the other calves were born in March, I think. And for some reason, she just apparently did not settle those first couple times, and she didn't have her calf until now. You all know now how Brenda is. If we don't get going, she could spend all day just looking at the cows. Calf stop.
Hi, honey.
That's our neighbor's Jersey.
what's next on the agenda?
Well, we'll go down and haul some more firewood up through the field, short haul it so the trucker can get to it.
At least the breeze is nice this morning.
It is. I do hope in the next 2 weeks to be starting with using the colts a little bit more, so you can see how I go about the training process with them.
And yesterday we brought them over. You said that already, but Jim was saying how quickly they forget what they learned. So that's why consistency is important when you can. I guess that's the same with all of us. Well, we're down here at the lower farm and we are continuing on with getting firewood loaded up here at this end of the field, taking it up to the other end of the field where it is not so wet so the trucker can pick it up. If you missed the video where we were doing this before, we can put a link above so you can check that out. But today we have Buck and Ken with us, and we'll see how the Percherons do. Jim didn't think there was going to be as much to haul today as the other day. Some of those pieces are pretty big, and it'll probably add up pretty fast. Kenny, you want to get in the picture? He's enjoying a little snack, just like the Belgians were yesterday. I have a feeling these guys will be maybe a little bit more nervous, but you know, I don't know. The Belgians were so good yesterday. They just stood there the whole time and didn't have any problems with it. Hardly moved a step. You guys are not supposed to move either. My job is to watch you. Today, I made sure that my bladder was super empty before I left, because I'm telling you what, it was a long afternoon yesterday. Jim doesn't always know how long things are going to take, and it ended up taking quite a while, and by the time I got back, you know, I was ready to go. So this is load 1. Ken seems to be very excited about the prospect of working and eating at the same time, being in harness. Normally Jim does not allow them to bend down and eat grass or anything while they're in harness, but since it's right up close to him, he's been taking a lot of advantage of that. Okay. So Jim just said he was going to start not on the wagon because sometimes it gives you kind of a jolt when you make a sharp turn. And off they go. So I better hurry up and get in my rig here and meet him up on the other side.
Okay, just watch them, but be careful because there's a ditch right there. We're probably at the end of it, so it's probably fine.
Okay. Will do. I don't want anybody going into any ditch. Now you boys, we're not quite as fast as the Belgians. I'd like to say that. Slow and steady wins a race. And so far they're not standing as well, but we don't want to talk them down. I think it's mostly Buck's fault. He's been a little grumpy today, having an off day. So we're unloading load 1. We're up by the road. I am happy to report that they did not move 1 foot during the unloading. And sometimes Jim gets so close to the horses, I'm like, oh my word. If they only knew. But anyways, everybody's good. While Jim is loading up load 2, I just wanted to let you guys know that we are hoping to go to Madrid Fair this weekend. Or it's not a fair, it's field days, I think they call it. Anyways, what a beautiful facility it is. And they have many things going on that would have been like yesteryears. And we went there last year and we do have a video on that. But anyways, we wanted to let you know, like, this is it's gonna be the first weekend in September, and we plan to be there, and we're gonna see how Buck and Ken do in the horse pull. Jim doesn't expect huge, great things, but he wants to see how they do. So he's been working them this week, so to get ready for that. If all goes well, we'll be there. If we don't have any breakdowns or problems or whatever, that's the plan. And we also wanted to remind you, DAPNet's coming up. That's the first weekend in October. Draft Animal Powered Network, I believe that stands for. That's in Loudon, New Hampshire. And that is a weekend where people get together, they have workshops, and they have things you can watch and experience, all related to draft animals. Oxen, horse, maybe even some dogs this year, I don't know. But we're planning on being there. We're not taking the horses this year. It's a long drive. Jim is not a fan of driving anywhere too far with a truck and trailer. He has a hard time staying awake when he's driving. And I do not feel comfortable driving the trailer, so we don't go, you know, super far away with our horses. Anyways, we're gonna go and we're going to just be there, experience it, and volunteer some of the time just to do some whatever needs to be done. So hopefully if you're in the Northeast, you can come, and we'd love to meet you at Draft Animal Powered Network in Loudon, New Hampshire. Check it out. Maybe we can put a link in the description below for that as well. Jim's working on load 2. He thought there was going to only be 3 loads, but there's still some more up there too. So we'll see. The horses are standing much, much better on this load. I guess they know what to expect now. They know what's going on. Oh my word, look at the length of that. Let's hope he doesn't run into the horses with that. Yeah, Ken, I'd be scared too. Brother. Woo. That made it.
Okay, I've almost got into trouble with the skid steer down in there. It's getting a little muddy, and I don't even have a chain to pull out the skid steer if I get stuck. So I'm going to call it quits for today. And in a lot of ways, just 2 heavy loads like this is a really good workout for the day, especially with like Buck being an older horse. I can remember years ago a really good horse puller telling me that, you know, for old teams, to keep them in good shape for horse pulling, an hour a day of work is actually enough. For the younger horses, they need a lot more work. And when you have work to do, I tend to do a lot more work with them because I have work to do. But today we're just going to this will be our second load, and we'll quit after this. And I've got a bunch of small stuff up there, Brenda, if I showed you, that I want to get cleaned up, which I'll probably have to use the flat wagon for, because with the bunks it's going to be hard to get them on and keep them on. So I'll probably come back down with the flat wagon. And I've got a little bit more down there, but we're supposed to get another 1/4 inch of rain tonight, which isn't a lot, but when it's kind of wet already, it doesn't take much to get a little bit too wet for the skid steers. They're just terrible in mud, and so I don't want to make big ruts, and I don't want to get stuck for the umpteenth millionth time with my skid steer. So anyways, this will do it for today.
I'd say that's a pretty good load. So thanks for coming along with us today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Once again, if you haven't subscribed, remember it's free. It's just a click of the button, and it just lets YouTube know that you're interested in our videos, and they show them to more people that way. Click the like button if you like this video. And once again, remember that we do have merchandise. We've got winter hats coming out soon. I'm excited about those, and calendars. Plus we've got hats and t-shirts. So you can check out what we have in the description below the video, where it says more, like where it talks about the video. There's a little it says more, and you can just click on that more, and it shows all the links to everything that we have available. We've got the newsletter too. So if you're interested in what we're doing, that's where you can look. Thanks for coming along today. Have a great day. You know, for how big of a load this is, I thought these guys, we just got back, I thought they'd be like breathing a lot harder, because you know, it's a lot. I know this is hardwoods, I mean firewood, so it's been sitting there for a while, but it's still hardwood, so it's pretty heavy. So these boys are strong. They handled it very well.